We are family. I got all my sisters with me. Hello, and welcome to the next episode of Matt and Todd Go to the Movies, the podcast where Matt and Todd watch a movie from the Netflix top 10 list, and then we talk about it, discuss it, share it with you. Maybe sometimes you share it with us. There's a lot of sharing going on, and sharing is caring. I am Todd Domer.
And I'm Matt Malloy, and yes, welcome to this episode of our podcast. We will be talking about a movie called Finding Ohana. Just came out on the Netflix. And and as I've learned from Lilo and Stitch, Ohana means family, which ties in nicely with your rendition of We Are Family.
Yes.
So,
I will now do my Stitch impression for you, Matt. Ohana means family. Family means no one gets left behind or forgotten.
very nice, Todd. Very nice.
Just for you. Just for you and our loyal listeners.
Who boosted us to 100 big downloads again last week. We love it.
I know. Crazy.
We love it.
We're so hot right now.
Well, so who's in this movie? Well, initially I would have said no one's really in this movie. No one famous is in this movie. But there are two people in it who I found out some interesting roles that they have played. One of them is Kelly Hu.
Yes.
She's been in a few things. She's been in like Scorpion King and X-Men.
She was Lady Deathstrike in X-Men 2.
Yes. But one thing that I was happy to see on her resume was the classic Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan.
Yes, I saw that and laughed to myself, and I knew you would pick up on it. I was like, there's no way this is going to slip between... I was like, there's no way this is going to slip in between Matt's fingers.
That's true.
He's going to be on top of this.
You're right. Well, so Kelly Hu is in it. And then there's another guy named Huy Quan who had some more prominent roles as a younger man, including
Dr. Jones
playing Short Round in Indiana Jones. Was it Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom? I think so.
Temple of Doom, you're correct.
He's also in Goonies and some other stuff too. But
yes.
Anyway, those were the two that stood out to me. No one else was really standing out. What do you say on this?
I agree with you, except for one person who I'm going to attempt. Well, actually, there's a couple people. Chris Parnell's in this movie in a really small part. He's pretty famous, SNL guy. And Mark Evan Jackson, also a pretty small role in flashback scenes with Chris Parnell. He's pretty semi-famous TV actor, I guess. I know him mostly from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. But I'm going to try to pronounce this guy's name, and I have no idea if I'm going to say it right. Branscombe? It's Branscombe. Branscombe or Branscombe Richmond, who was also in The Scorpion King with the first woman we talked about, Lady Deathstrike.
Kelly Hu.
Kelly Hu. He's been in a couple of things like Forgetting Sarah Marshall and different stuff like that, but I notably recognize him from the TV show with Lorenzo Lamas, The Renegade. He was the Renegade's partner of bounty hunting, a bounty hunting partner. But he's pretty famously plays Hawaiian characters in movies and TV. So, He was in it. Thus, everyone else, I have no
Yeah.
idea.
Well, this was. Let's see. Let's see if we can get a good pronunciation. Can you hear that?
I don't hear it at all. So,
Oh, cool. Because I have headphones in.
yeah.
So, according to howtopronounce.com, it's Branscombe.
Branscombe. Wow, I was way
Branscombe.
off.
Yeah. Or that website could be wrong. You never know. You never know with these
I mean, I
things.
trust the website more than I trust myself. So,
Indeed. Well, so what is this movie about? It is heavily Hawaiian cast, as mentioned, but and it's based in Hawaii. It's based around a mother and her two kids who have come to Hawaii for summer because the lady's father has had a heart attack and he needs some help.
yes.
She's originally from Hawaii, but she and her kids have been living in New York for 11 years or something. And
Yes.
so they're back to kind of help out around for the summer. And pretty early on, the well, the main characters are really the kids. There's the daughter,
Yes.
and sorry, your pipe is distracting me.
There's nothing smoking inside of
Yeah.
it. It's just I'm trying to. I'm gonna listen and take you seriously with the old pipe, looking at you.
Great.
Proceed, please,
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Malloy.
So anyway, the two main characters, or two of the main characters, are the daughter who's 12 and the son who's worried about missing out on senior year. So where I'm going to put him at 16 or 17 years old.
Yes.
And then so pretty early on, the daughter finds this journal. She's sort of rustling around and rifling through the grandfather's secret stash of belongings and comes across this journal. And the journal,
Being Snoopy,
yes,
as some people are prone to
that's
do.
right. Um, anyway, so she finds that this journal is like, it's part in Spanish, part in Hawaiian, and it tells the story that apparently in Hawaii is a well-known story. I don't know. I hadn't heard it before. But basically it's about pirates who get shipwrecked on the island that they're on, and there's treasure somewhere, and yeah. So and it's mentioned early on that she's really into geocaching. In fact, it's demonstrated. She wins a geocaching competition
Yes.
in New York. But so she's excited about this journal and starts to get obsessed about finding the finding the treasure. And then
Yes.
she and her brother connect with two other locals, a girl who is the same age as the brother, and a boy who is the same age as the daughter.
Yes.
And they form a uh, a traveling party who goes to look for treasure. You also get these flashback scenes where it's narrated by the girl in present day, but it's acted out by these supposed Spanish pirates.
Yes.
So
Chris Parnell, who is supposed to be a Spanish
right,
pirate.
right.
Yeah.
So they go and have an adventure, and they go through caves, and there's spiders, and there's skeletons, and eventually there's ghost warriors who come after them, and you know,
Sure. Yeah.
you've got your
It gets a little all over the
you
place.
got your
Yeah.
standard teenage young tween treasure hunting tropes come into play.
Yes.
And that's kind of it. I mean, You don't need to know if they found the treasure or not. I'm not going to tell you or what happened after that. But
Yeah.
that's the fun of discovery with Finding Ohana.
Yeah.
So, Todd, what did you think of this movie?
Well, Matt, similarly to We Can Be Heroes, I am not the demographic for this movie.
It's
So
true.
I feel like my review has to start there. That this movie is definitely a kids' movie. Maybe even aired to the younger kids, maybe preteens to just being teenagers, maybe a little bit older than that. That being
I
said,
would say the
though,
demographic is older than We Can Be Heroes, though. I think.
yes, I definitely will agree with that. Yeah. All that being said, though, this is not a bad movie. I don't think. It honestly, and it's funny that it has. What was his name in Goonies? Data, was that his name in the Goonies?
Yes, that's correct.
It's funny that it has him in it because this, to me, it honestly is a modern day Goonies. It's like very similar in story, very similar in almost everything, in a sense of like, their grandfather's going to lose their home unless they get some money. Here's a journal that's kind of also a treasure map. You got to go through all this stuff that are, clues in the journal and stuff like that. So it's very similar. But and I don't know if like Goonies is one of those movies that is remembered so fondly, but it doesn't deserve it. I'm not ready to say that because I haven't seen it in a while. But there's always something to me special about the Goonies. And I don't think this movie is as special, but that doesn't mean it's bad. It's got some okay acting from these kids who kind of have to carry the movie. A lot of Disney Channel acting, I would kind of call it. Some very over the top scenes and stuff like that. As very Disney Channel kids are taught to do and stuff like that. The story is kind of a little all over the place, as maybe a story that has treasure maps and treasures and pirates and all that kind of stuff involved in it. And then there's a supernatural element that you alluded to that comes into play, which is also kind of all over the place. So it's certainly not the tightest movie, but I think if you have kids and they're of the appropriate age, this is a great movie to watch. It's funny because I finished watching this movie on Sunday, and then as I was calling my dad before the Super Bowl, he was finishing watching this movie with my niece, his granddaughter. They were watching it. He didn't know I was watching it. It just happened to be a magical happenstance. So, but yeah, I think if you've got kids and you want to watch this movie, this is a great movie to sit down, great family movie to sit down and enjoy, have a good time with. So, with kids movies, and if you're an adult, specifically a cynical adult like I can be sometimes, of course there's going to be some hiccups here and there. But I think this was a good time. Like, I had a good time, and I think if you watch this movie with your kids, you'll have a good time too. Matt?
Did you
Did
did you get a
Go
recording
ahead.
of Dan Domer's feedback about the movie that we could splice into our podcast?
I wish, but they hadn't finished the movie yet when I
Ah,
talked to them.
okay.
And also, I was driving.
Oh,
So that would have been a little hard to achieve, technologically speaking.
it's true. There's a lot of
So,
obstacles there. Wow.
yeah.
I am sad about that, but I am happy about this uh, Hawaiian version of the Goonies, as you aptly
Yes.
point out. There are many similarities, and the vibe of the movie is very Goonies.
Yes.
It's also I will say, the cinematography is beautiful. Hawaii is a beautiful
Hmm.
place. I know this. I don't know this. I haven't been there, but I hear it's a beautiful place, and the shots in this movie of Hawaiian things are uh, quite beautiful and a nice part of the movie, even though they don't,
Yes.
even though the scenes inside caves, Todd, were filmed in
Yes.
Thailand.
I definitely did not think they were still in Hawaii in the cave scenes,
Yes.
but
Now,
interesting. Thailand, I didn't see that coming.
the reason is though that
Well, obviously, there's no caves
there
in
are caves
Hawaii,
in
so.
Hawaii. There are. But as alluded to in the movie, the caves are sacred. So they could
Yes.
not film in the Hawaiian caves.
I definitely, as long as we're shooting out little tidbits thing,
Yes.
I definitely appreciated how the movie focuses on at a point of telling you all these other movies that have shot scenes at the location that they're at, like Jurassic Park and stuff like that. I found that to be just as a movie fan and as a movie podcaster, I was like, what a fascinating tidbit you just threw me. I appreciate you finding Ohana.
Yes. Yes, they did reveal
So,
the that they were some of the shooting locations for Lost and Jurassic Park. So
yes.
cool stuff there. Um, but so I did like this movie. It is a kids movie, and I still liked it. And I think that that maybe gives it more credit than I normally would give it based
Hmm.
on those factors. But yeah, I'd say this movie is a good time. Um, it it does have, as you mentioned, that over the top kids acting. You've got four teen tweens carrying the movie. That's gonna happen.
Yeah,
But
sure.
it's also that's the type of movie it is. So
Yes.
that's fine. It's fine. And you do get a little backstory, and of course the as you can guess, the family comes together at the end, which makes it a great movie to watch with your family, your kids if you have them, or if you have any nieces or nephews or cousins or anybody in the younger age demographic. It's a good one.
Yeah, I don't know if we could have given it the modern day Goonies shout out if everyone happened to like die in the movie or something.
Right.
It would have been a much different review.
That is true. That is true. Um, so overall, I would say I enjoyed this movie, even though it wasn't really for me. I liked what they did with it. So a positive review from me.
Nice. Well, Matt, how many spider bites would you give this movie? 0 to 5. 5 being the best, 0 being the dirt worst.
Right. So uh, five spider bites would really be painful in real life. But if this movie got five spider bites, it would be some of the best movie making ever. So
Well, I mean, I got to keep the audience on their toes with our rating
that's right.
system.
Sometimes bad things are actually good. In this
Yes.
case, I'm going to give it 2.9 spider bites out of 5. Um,
Mm.
I enjoyed the movie. It wasn't for me, but I still enjoyed it, and that's where I'm going to come in, almost at a 3, almost.
Yeah. Unlike last time we recorded, we're pretty much close to each other this time. I definitely had 3.0 in my mind. Spider
Uh huh.
bites out of 5. Um, just to yeah. I mean, the movie's not for me or us, but it achieves everything it tries to achieve as far as being for kids and stuff like that. And for a movie that is specifically for kids, if I can sit through an hour and 40 minutes of it and not be bored and not questioning my choices in life of why I'm watching this movie, then that's a win to me. That's just a good old time. So, yeah. So props to this movie. I feel. Also, I was explaining to my dad, good old Dan Domer,
Yes.
that there is something I have like. I don't know exactly where it comes from. I have this like respect for Hawaiian culture that I just really enjoy. And as I was like explaining it to him, I was like, maybe it stems from. I like the idea of a culture where sometimes the bigger and fatter you are, the more respected and great you are. I don't know. Like it seems like when in the Hawaiian culture, if you're on the bigger side, that's just expected and
Right.
good. I can get behind that. So,
Well, so that is going to mean that our average rating for Finding Ohana is going to come in at 2.95 spider bites out of 5. So that's decent.
yeah. That's a good old family time right
Good
there.
old family time. Yes. Well, I would like to reveal the next movie we're going to review, Todd.
I'm pretty sure I know what it is based off of my own looking at Netflix over the last couple of days. I would be surprised if I'm wrong.
Okay. Well, it's called Malcolm and Marie.
That's exactly what I thought it was going to be.
Yes, the #1 movie in Netflix America. So,
I'm sure it has absolutely nothing to do that it's a Netflix original movie.
well, yes. But I have heard some things about this movie, even outside of Netflix's own ecosystem of pushing their movies to us.
I have also heard good things about this movie, and then I watched not the trailer, but if you're on Netflix and you just hover over stuff, it'll like show you scenes from the movie or whatever.
Yeah.
And as I was watching these scenes, I was like, I'm not excited to watch this. But who knows? Maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. Well, it's got Zendaya in it
Yep.
and John David Washington,
Yes.
who we can remember from our time with the movie Tenet.
Yes.
So,
I don't think we've reviewed a Zendaya movie.
have we not? I guess
Good.
not.
The only movies that I can think of is she's in the new Spider-Man movies, and I don't think
Right.
when either of those movies came out, we didn't have a podcast yet. So.
Dang. Well, that's life in the big city. So,
It's
look
true.
forward to that on the next episode of Matt and Todd Go to the Movies. Malcolm and Marie, our thoughts given to you.
Da 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 da.
Da-da!
Da da da.
Da-da-da.